Okay, so we have officially finished Module 1. Go us. Everyone say yay. We finished Module 1. We are so fantastic. But since Module 1 is over, that means we're starting Module 2 today. And today's just kind of just some open intro to kind of get us thinking about Module 2. Someone remind me what Module 1 was about. What was the title of Module 1? Anyone remember? Zach? Yes, Inventors at Work was the module title. Our new module title for Module 2 dun, da, 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 is What a Story. So that is our new topic. What a story. So right now, if you're in class with me, you're going to use your dry erase board. If you're at home, you're going to type it in the chat. Right now, I want, what, Zach? Oh. Right now, you're going to write me, like I said, if you're at home, you're going to type it in the chat. If you're here in school, you're going to write it on your dry erase board. Write me your definition of a story. If I was your little sibling and I walked up to you and I said, hey, or you told me, hey, we're going to read a story. And I said, well, what's a story? I want your definition of what a story is, okay? So right now, you're going to do your personal best and tell me what a story is. Pretend Mrs. Kneifel has no clue. What is a story? I need you to tell me. Tell me your best definition of a story. Keep it down. Your best definition of a story. You have plenty of time. I don't want anyone to rush. I want you to think about this. What is the best definition of a story you could come up with? Addison in the chat. If you're an at-home learner, you're telling me your definition of a story right now. Don't look it up online. I just want to know, if I say, hey, what's a story? What comes to your mind? When you're done, you can just cap your marker and put your board on your desk and just wait. I don't want to rush anyone. You have plenty of time. What is a story? You should be writing it in a sentence because we're in 5th grade, which means you have capital letter and punctuation. I don't know. Mr. Nolan, is this your button? Put it on the thing the right way, sir. I thought we already talked about how Mrs. Kneifel likes her buttons to look nice. You're writing your best definition of a story. Where'd Isaac go? He left us. How rude. How rude. You have about 2 more minutes. About 2 more minutes to finish your definition of a story. Mark, you don't have to hold it up here. I'll tell you when I need it. But it looks good. So you tell me, what is your definition of a story? And stop making a noise. I can't live that life. I don't know if you know, but Mrs. Kneifel gets really distracted. So any noise that is outside of the normal noise, I instantly hear. Miss Rochelle, do you have a question, ma'am? Oh, are you giving me a thumbs up? Okay. So those of you at home probably can't see my screen totally well, but there's 4 questions up here, except for we're only going to answer 3 of them today. And the first one is, what is a story? So that's what we're answering right now, in case you're wondering what was on my whiteboard. I know, I just said we're not going to answer number 4. So I just crossed it off because I don't want to answer that one today. And I ran out of time in my other classes too, so. Hi, Corgan. Hi, Eden. Right now, you should be typing out the definition of a story in the chat. What is a story to you? I'm going to give you all 1 more minute, and then we're going to share our definition of a story. And it's your definition, so don't worry about it being wrong, because no one has been wrong yet. Okay, So those of you that are on my at-home learners today, I'm going to wheel you around so you can easily hear each person that is telling me what their story definition is. So you are on the move, and the person saying it's going to be nice and loud. If you don't want to read yours, I could always read it out loud if that's something that you're into. So, Mr. Zachary, you're starting. What is your definition of a story?
A story is something you read.
Okay, a story is something that you read. I would agree with that. Ella, what's your definition of a story?
So that tells something true.
A story tells something that's true. Okay. Miss Marissa, how about you?
A story is a nonfiction or fiction book. Nonfiction is where it is real. Fiction is where it's not real. So that is some facts about a story. Another fact about a story is that someone who writes the story is telling a true or fake story.
Okay, so you kind of repeated yourself with your second fact and your first fact. But Miss Marissa talked about the two main genres, which are nonfiction and fiction, which we're going to learn into that in a little bit. So you got to start it off. Mr. Landon is going to share his story next, or his definition of a story next.
A story is a persuasive, entertaining, and informational story.
It has to be or. They can't all be the same. Is that all you wrote? Okay, so Mr. Landon talked about the reasons for authors writing it. So he said it is either persuasive, it is informative, or it is for entertainment. Miss Lillian, how about you?
A story is like
Say that again.
A story is like a fiction.
Okay, so she's talking about books and fiction. Mr. Julian, you're next.
A tale that has been told and wrote by someone.
Okay, Mr. Julian said a tale that has been told and wrote by someone. Mr. Mark, would you like to go? Okay, you can go.
I literally said the same thing as Landon. A make-believe or real is a tale that persuades, informs, or entertains, and then it equals pie. Which...
Okay. Yeah, it does equal pie. Good job. Okay, so Isaac also said the same thing. So we have 3 people thinking the same things, which is good because I'm pretty sure we just talked about author's purpose last week. So I'm glad a few of you guys remember author's purpose. Miss Olive is going to say what she said.
Something a person writes to entertain.
Okay, she was sticking to straight entertainment. Your turn.
A funny tale or a regular one, such as The Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Okay, so he said a funny or a regular story, and he gave an example.
A story is something that you read about. Sometimes you read different topics.
All right, so this lovely lady said something that you read about, and it's about different topics and different genres, which we are going to talk more about genres. Mr. Nolan.
My definition of a story is making sentences about an object or a thing or something like a tale.
Okay, so different sentences put together about objects or things that you do. Kylin.
A story is a thing you're writing about or typing.
Ooh, something you write or type. All right. Ava. Oh, no. Wait, time out. Phone call. Everyone, freeze. Hello? Okay. No. That's okay. All right. Bye. Marissa, you need to pack up. You're heading home, which means you need to finish the recording, and you also need to watch the spelling. All right. So, is this your scrunchie, Miss Ava? Okay. Miss Ava's going to read hers now.
Something you can use that can inform, entertain, or persuade.
All right, so Ava was on track with the other boys. And then Mr. Elijah has a story, something you read, and it can be entertaining. Awesome. I think that is everyone. Mark, do you have a question?
You didn't tell us to unfreeze.
Oh, funny. Yeah, I did say freeze. Unfreeze. Sorry, I forgot about Molly. So Molly's going to give us her definition.
A sequence of events make a story.
Okay, she's talking about a sequence of events, which would be text structure. So the majority of us all had different definitions. Some of us were thinking kind of the same wavelength, but we all, by the way, you can cap your markers because you don't need them for a little bit. But we are all kind of thinking the same thing, but all of us were different, and that is okay. There is not, I don't need a perfect definition for a story because a story may mean something different to me than it means to you. And that's totally okay. So throughout the next 5 weeks, 5 long weeks, we are going to be learning more and more about different types of stories and different types of story elements and all the crazy things that go into a story. But we're in 5th grade, which means we already know an awful lot about stories. So the next thing we're going to do is make a big, giant list on my board, and I'm going to verbally say it. Bye, Marissa. See you later. I'm going to verbally say it. That way, if you can't read it on the board, that's okay. About the parts of a story. So what are different parts of a story? And I mean physical parts, and then I also mean like characters and settings and stuff. So raise your hand. If you're at home, you can throw it in the chat what a part of the story is. Anyone, what is a part of a story? Landon.
It is.
Nope. I want one word. What's a part of a story? We're not giving a sentence. We're not giving a definition. Tell me a part of a story. Evan. There are paragraphs. This is not a good marker. There are paragraphs in stories. Mark, you can unmute yourself and tell me one.
Rising conflict.
Like the problem in the story?
Yeah, conflict.
Yeah. Okay. So there's always a problem / conflict in stories. All right. What's something else? Molly. Main idea. There is one of those in the story. Yes. I'm going to let you know, me and the other classes got listed like 25. So all you guys better get your minds going because we got a long way to go. Zachary. Setting. There is a setting in stories. Correct. What else? Evan. What? There can be, we'll put, let's say title, because in the story there's going to be a title. We can put subheadings, because some stories might have a subheading, but there's a title in every story. Lillian? There is a conclusion. And we can put /ending. Those words are interchangeable. Conclusion /ending. Isaac, do you have one? You can unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat.
Characters.
Characters, correct. There are characters in every single story. Sometimes there's also something else that starts with an N. Can someone remind me what that is? Anyone? What is it? Kind of goes along with characters. Olive?
Narrator.
There is. Lots of stories have a narrator. So this giant list we're making does not go for every story, but it goes for some, like, there's not going to be every single one of these in each story. That'd be crazy. Ava, do you have one? There is a beginning. Yup. There's a beginning in every story. There's also an intro. Well, /intro. Beginning /intro would be the same thing. Rochelle? The middle, or we're going to call that the body. So all those have like 2 names. What else is there? Molly? There are sometimes chapters. Mark, do you have another one?
Resolution.
There is. There's a resolution. Or we can call that a solution. Either one. They mean the same thing. Resolution /solution. That's how we solve the problem. Evan? I don't really know about that. So, you want to try again? There's not always onomatopoeias. I don't know how to spell that either. Onomatopoeia words, which would just be, okay, you know what? I'm going to erase onomatopoeia words. And instead of that, I'm going to put figurative language. Because that kind of covers onomatopoeia words and similes and metaphors and all that stuff. Figurative language. We're going to talk way more about figurative language, like Pinky promised. Isaac, do you have another one?
Conflict.
I think we have conflict. Yeah, we have conflict next to problem. Zach? Theme. There is a theme /
Wait, I actually have another one though.
moral of the story. Every story has that. Zach, you have another one?
Yeah, cause and effect.
Cause and effects would be text structure, how it is set up, because not every story necessarily is set up in cause and not every story is necessarily set up like that. So it'd be text structure because some are just set up sequentially and in chronological order and stuff. But every single text has some type of text structure. Ooh, Isaac said plot. That's what's happening in the story. Landon. No, I disagree. Not every story has that, and that doesn't really work. Ava, say that again. Pictures. That's a good one. Lots and lots of stories have pictures/illustrations. Evan.
Chronological?
Okay, no, chronological order I literally just said would fit underneath text structure. Okay? Chronological is things going in order, which would be a type of text structure. Mark.
You're forgetting the most important thing, the theme.
I have themes. Someone just Zachary just said it. It's up there.
I didn't hear it then.
Slash the moral of the
Oh,
story,
I think
but yeah.
I typed in onomatopoeia how to spell it in there too.
Oh, go you. I put that under figurative language. Main idea. Did someone say that? Eden? Yep, we have that, Eden. But that is a good one. Deck?
Plan.
I don't know about that. That'd be like the middle and the body and stuff. Rochelle? That would be we can just put point of view because that changes from story to story. So there's different points of view. There are pages to a book if we're reading a book. How about every story that's written by someone has a what? It starts with an A, everyone. Author. Okay, so right here, we just spent about 6 minutes doing that. And in those 6 minutes, we were able to label like over 20 parts of a story. And that's just to get our mind thinking of different parts of a story. So go us in our fabulous list. We are super amazing. Now I'm going to erase this list and then we're going to make a new list talking about genres. So right now, I need you to think of the two main genres and then we're going to put other genres underneath those genres. There are two main genres that I'm looking for right now. What are my main genres? There's two of them. What are the main genres? Mark, your hand was up first.
Fiction and nonfiction?
Yeah, fiction and nonfiction. Can someone tell me what these things mean? What do these mean, Molly? I think that's the other way around.
Yes.
Yeah. So, nonfiction is real, and fiction means not real. So, now I want other genres that we can put into these categories, because these are the two big categories, but then little other genres can go into those categories. I know it's kind of confusing, but I promise it'll make sense once we get going. Zachary, what's one?
Biographic.
It's called a biography. A biography, and that goes in fiction because that is a real story about someone's life. Nolan. And autobiography is also going to go in nonfiction because that's me. Autofiction, that's not what I wanted to write. Autobiography because that is me telling my own story life. So that's going to be real. What's another one? Mark, your hand is up.
Oh, dang it, I just forgot it. Dang it.
If you think of it, you can throw it in my chat.
Okay, yeah, when I think of it.
Okay. Anyone else? There's like so many genres out there, okay, peeps?
Oh, personal narrative.
A personal narrative. Where's that going to go?
Nonfiction, I want to say.
I think it can go in both, personally,
Yeah.
because you can tell it. I could write a personal narrative about my life that is real, but then I could also make a fake personal narrative, right? So
Yeah, like
personal narrative-
Captain Arsenio.
That was a trick question. Personal narrative can go in both. I'm going to write PN on this side, and then we'll know what it is. All right, Isaac, how about you?
Novel.
What?
A novel.
Novel.
A novel? A novel's just the book itself. That's not a genre. Evan. A fairy tale. Where's a fairy tale going, guys?
Fiction.
Fairy tale, and also kind of like a fairy tale is fantasy. What's another one? Yeah. No. How about comedy? If I read a book that was all about comedy, which side is that going in? Fiction, nonfiction, or both?
Both.
Both. Yep. How about a horror story? Where's that going?
Both.
Yep.
Because it could be based on a real story.
Yep. How about a mystery? Where's that going? One,
Both.
two, or both? Both. All right, this is a good one. For some reason, this tricks people up. Realistic fiction. Where is realistic fiction going?
Fiction.
It's going in fiction.
Fiction.
But realistic fiction happens to be Mrs. Kneiffel's favorite type of genre because it is not real, but it could be real, but it isn't real. So that's my favorite. Olive, do you know another one? What? Romance. Okay. Those are like, I guess we don't necessarily. Well, I guess I could. I'm an adult. Most people don't really read. Most young kids don't read romance novels, but those could be in either or. How about historical fiction? Where's historical fiction going?
Well,
Oh, it's fiction. It literally has the word fiction in it. Once again, it is based off of something real. They're telling you a true story, but in a fictional way. One of my favorite historical fiction books is called George Washington Sacks. I think it's a 5th grade reading level. You guys should hop on that. It's a good one. George Washington Sacks. It tells a good story. But it tells you about history, but in a fictional way. It's super good. Any more? This is a pretty good list we got here.
The books in the library, the ER, the ones that get awarded.
That's not a genre. That's just they got an award. All right, so we are gonna.
Oh.
What,
do you
Mark?
think cause and effect would be one, or is that just kind of like a like something like that?
That would be under like text structure. That's not necessarily
Okay.
a genre. That's just how the text is written because you could do
Okay.
cause and effect in any single one of these texts. So that's the text structure, which we'll talk more and more about. But those are good lists. Go us. We were able to definitely kick some butt at some lists today. And now we are switching gears and we have 4 vocabulary words to learn about. I'm going to shut off my projector and then we're going to get started on our 4 vocabulary words. Yes. So, all right. So if you're at home and if you don't have a dry erase board, you're going to be typing this in the chat. If you have a dry erase board like Mark, you're free to do that. But we're going to be, instead of normally like we do, you have vocabulary homework sentences. Instead, we're just going to do the sentences together right now. So so then you don't have reading homework today. Our first one is the hardest one to put in a sentence, okay? So we're not going to put in a sentence for our first one. I'm just going to tell you my sentence. The next 3, you're going to write a sentence for. But our first one's kind of hard to put into a sentence. The word is prose, P-R-O-S-E. Does anyone know what this means? And it does not mean a professional person. If that's what you're thinking it is, it's not that. Does anyone know what prose means? Evan, you want to give it a try?
Like the great things, like good things.
No, I disagree. It is not that. You want to try, Landon? No, that would be spelled P-R-O-S. All right, Mark, you try.
Is it like a past tense for praise?
It is not. See, I'm telling you, it's a tricky one. So prose, P-R-O-S-E, means ordinary writing. So in forms of sentences and paragraphs. So like your AR book is written as a prose. It's poetry is written in stanzas, certain lines. But anything that is written in paragraphs with sentences is called a prose, okay? So my sentence, you guys don't have to write a sentence for this one, but my sentence would be, most stories are written as prose, but some are written as poetry. Are there any questions on this first word, prose? This will be in our story that we're reading tomorrow, prose. It's a short read tomorrow. It's only 2 pages. Anyone? Prose? All right. If not, our next one, for some reason, I assumed more of us would know this word and like no one knew it. So hopefully someone in this class knows it. The word is dialogue. D-I-A-L-O-G-U-E. What is dialogue? Zachary, you want to give it a try?
A dialogue is kind of dialogue.
I mean, I guess it could be on a computer, but not necessarily. No. Evan?
Is it kind of like they are?
Nope. Landon?
Isn't dialogue
No, it
Not necessarily.
has nothing to do with experimenting. Molly. No. Mark, you try.
The text.
It is part of text. So I'm gonna have Molly, how is your day? Ask me the question back. My day's great. What'd you have for lunch? Okay, me and Molly just had a dialogue, okay? Yeah, we just dialogue. Dialogue is a conversation. So, when it's just me and you or me and whoever, we don't say, oh, we just dialogued. You could, but we don't necessarily say that. Instead, we say we have a conversation. But a dialogue is the conversation among characters in a story, okay? So, a sentence could be, the way this character speaks in his dialogue helps me understand him. So right now, everyone's going to make their own sentence using dialogue. If you're at home and don't have a dry erase board like Mark, you need to be putting it in the chat. Show me you're participating. Write a sentence using dialogue, using the meaning of it. The dialogue is the conversation among characters in a story. And when you're done, you can hold your board up. You're in 5th grade, so you better be using a capital letter and punctuation. How do we use our desk like we're supposed to? That would be helpful, okay? Just sit up and just use your desk like it's meant to be used. Dialogue. Addison, Isaac, Corrigan, Eden, Jessica, you guys should be writing your sentence in the chat because you don't have your camera on, so there's no way I can see that you know how to write a sentence. Okay, you're not, so you have to use the word in the sentence, Miss Ava. The word dialogue should be in your sentence, just like our vocabulary sentences we do on Google Classroom. So Isaac, you gave me an example of dialogue. You did not use the dialogue in the sentence. So you have to use, just like normal, you're using the word in the sentence like we normally do, but instead of on Google Classroom, you're doing it right now. It's right here. When you're done, you can show me your board if you're at home. So Mark said, when characters in the story have a conversation, they're having dialogue. Great, Mark. Me and my friends dialogue together every day. We use dialogue to chat. I cannot read yours at all, Olive. You're going to have to write that way bigger if you want me to read it.
I can't see the word.
I've already said it 15 times, sir. I just waited 3 minutes. My dialogue today was... What? I can't read it. He is an expert in writing dialogue. I have dialogue with my sister. Those are some good sentences. So far, we have good sentences. Remember, you need capital letter. You need punctuation. You should be using the word in the sentence. So Isaac, Mark, and Corrigan, you guys are good. My friends and I dialogue. Any part of the story can be dialogue. Good job, Jessica. I like to dialogue at recess with my friends. Dialogue is a conversation between each other. I use dialogue at the store. Me and my brother dialogued for 5 minutes. Make sure you have period, Mr. Nolan. Make sure you have period, Julian. Okay. Me and my sister dialogued about our day. My dialogue was to say, let's eat. All right, fabulous. I saw lots and lots of good sentences. We are going to move on to our next one. Da, 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 da. Some of us might know what this means in terms of a story climax. What is that? If I'm talking about the climax of a story, what is that, Molly? Oh, okay. Addison, that's a good sentence. Make sure you have a period, though. No, it has nothing to do with fires. Zachary.
Climax is the main idea.
Not necessarily the main idea. That's the wrong word. The main something, but it's not idea. It's something else I want there. Evan?
The main part, like the main action.
Yeah, kind of. So the main action, the most interesting part. So the climax of a story is the most important event, and it usually happens near the end. So the climax is like the oh my gosh, the suspenseful moment, what's going to happen next moment. Okay, that is what the climax is. It's the oh no. And then normally the climax helps us lead into the resolution to the ending. Okay, so right now you're going to write a sentence using climax. My sentence for climax is going to be, at the exciting climax of the story, the hero ran into the burning building. Write me a sentence using climax. It's the most important event. Usually happens near the end. It is not the end, it just happens near the end. Normally. Oh, look. Write a sentence. Make sure you have a capital letter and punctuation. At the novel's climax, the main character finds herself face to face with the thief. Good one, Isaac. The climax was very good. That would be a climax. That doesn't use the word in the sentence. Remember? We're using the word in the sentence. No, that's not how climax is used. In a scary movie, the climax is when the kid got kidnapped. Okay. The climax from the movie was, I can't read the rest. What does it say? A chase scene. The climax in the movie was a chase scene, all right? Climax, the most important event, usually happens near the end. In the book I'm reading, something Supreme fought Flash when, or in the climax. Sorry, it was kind of out of screen, Mark.
No, it's in the book I'm reading. The climax is when Superman fought Flash. I don't know. I just made up something.
Perfect. That's good. The climax of the movie was when he jumped out of the window. The climax was where, I cannot read that, buddy. You guys got to write nicer. Mrs. Kneifel has terrible handwriting, so I can normally read terrible handwriting, but you guys got to get with it. There's a few of you I haven't seen. Nolan, you got to make a new sentence. I didn't like your first one. That doesn't mean you get a stop. That means your first one didn't work. Make a new one. She tried to think about making the climax. She couldn't find something that would be perfect for it, though. Okay, good job, Jessica. Good job, Kylan. There's still a few of you I haven't seen. Good job, Ava. You can put yours away. Looks good.
Wait,
No, I meant like erase it. I meant erase it. Olive, do you have punctuation? In the story, the kid and it was climax. That makes no sense. Read things before you show them to me. All right, looks good, guys. We have one last. You have no capital letter and you have no punctuation. Take your time. You've done it 3 times now. If we took our time the first time, we wouldn't have had to do it 3 times. All right, we have one more word, and this is forward. F-O-R-E-W-O-R-D. Does anyone know what a forward is? And remember, we're talking about stories, so I'm talking about the forward in a story or in a book or whatever. Evan? Nope. Anyone want to give it a guess? No one knew in the other classes either. Hold on, Mark, 1 second. Yeah, it does. Cool. Okay, what is it, Mark? You want to give it a try?
I'm just going to take a guess. I'm going to say the first word in a page.
Okay, so you're kind of close. So,
First word in the story.
kind of, not quite. Okay, Nolan, if I haven't given you the definition yet, how on earth can you make a sentence doing it the correct way? You can't. That's how. So don't do that. So a foreword, no one seems to know it, which is totally fine. A foreword is the introduction to a book. It is called a foreword. So some books, not all books, this book, from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frank Weller. This book here has this extra little page before chapter 1. Here's chapter 1, but there's a page before chapter 1, and this is called a foreword. It gives you some extra information about the setting or the characters, some background information before the start. So it's the intro before the beginning. So it is not the beginning, it's the intro before the beginning, okay? So it happens before chapter 1. Okay, does everyone see how that works? I didn't have this book in the other classes. That probably would have been helpful. So you're going to write me a sentence using foreword. My sentence is going to be, you should read the book's foreword before you read the rest of the story. The book had a foreword. Yes, that would work. I cannot read yours, Evan. The foreword part of the story gave me a rundown. Wait, the foreword part of the story gave me a rundown of the story. So you could just say the foreword gave me a rundown of the story because we know it's a part of the story because we know the definition. The book I read had a foreword. I read a book that had a foreword. The foreword gave me details of the story. The story had a foreword. The foreword is the front of the book. The foreword was helpful. The foreword was incomplete, but they had an idea of what the author-to-be was going to put in it. The foreword gave me a little info about the story. I like re-adding foreword-y. Okay. She had writer's block on the foreword. That looks good, Ava. The foreword of the book was informational. All right. We did a lovely job today. So since we just did these vocabulary sentences, that means you don't have homework. Woohoo! So tomorrow we are going to learn, we have no roots this week, which makes me sad. Eden, you have to use a capital letter and punctuation, ma'am. Which makes me sad. We only have prefixes and suffixes. So tomorrow we're going to learn about some prefixes and some suffixes, and then we will read our story. Module 2 writing prompt is going to be assigned, I think maybe Wednesday or probably Thursday, I think. And then you'll have like 3 weeks to do it. So that's just a little bit of rundown on the rest of our week. But if you are in my homeroom class, I'm going to exit off this. And then in about 5 minutes, I'm going to send you a link for spelling. But I got to get the spelling stuff set up. If you're not in my class and I just added you because you're at home, thanks for joining. If you joined late, watch the recording. It will be posted, but you guys can leave. I'm going to send out a spelling link soon, okay?
What are we doing for spelling?
Don't you think I will go over that probably when I send out the link? Why would I tell you right now if I'm going to do it again in 5 minutes? That would be unhelpful, not helpful. All right, you guys can go.
I'm all alone. I'm all alone. No, I'm not.